If a woman truly wants intimacy with you, you will feel it before you understand it. And if you have to beg for clarity, the answer is already no. Listen to me carefully. Most men don't struggle because women are confusing. They struggle because they ignore emotional data. They chase words and miss behavior. They hear "I like you" and overlook distance. They hear "I'm busy" and ignore the pattern. And then they sit alone wondering what they did wrong. I'm going to tell you something most people won't say directly. When a woman desires real intimacy with you, emotional closeness, physical closeness, psychological merging, she does not hide the core signals. She might be subtle, she might be cautious, but she is not invisible. The first truth you must accept is this: intimacy begins in attention. When a woman wants you in her inner world, her attention shifts, and attention is expensive, especially today. A woman who desires intimacy will invest focused, intentional attention in you, not scattered replies, not reactive politeness, intentional attention. You'll notice she remembers small details: the story about your father, the frustration you had at work, the random childhood memory you told once at midnight. She brings it back up days later. That is not accidental. The brain does not store what the heart does not value. When she wants intimacy, she studies you. She asks layered questions, not just "what do you do," but "why did you choose that?" Not just "how was your day," but "what part of it drained you?" She is mapping your internal world. Why? Because intimacy is impossible without emotional mapping. Now here's where men sabotage themselves. When you're used to being ignored, even basic interest feels like love. So you overinvest too early. You chase. You flood her with access, and when you over-pursue, you remove the mystery that fuels emotional polarity. A woman who wants intimacy does not need to be convinced to engage. She leans in naturally. She creates space for you in her schedule. She finds small reasons to continue the conversation. She extends moments instead of ending them. If you always initiate, always escalate, always revive dying conversations, that is not intimacy building. That is you dragging momentum uphill. Real desire flows downhill. And here's the uncomfortable part. When she wants intimacy, you will not feel confused most of the time. You might feel nervous. You might feel excited, but you won't feel chronically uncertain about where you stand. Confusion is usually a signal of imbalance. I'm not saying she will confess feelings immediately. I'm not saying she will throw herself at you. Healthy women with boundaries move with awareness. But even within restraint, there is warmth. Even within caution, there is invitation. Watch her body language when you speak. Does she orient toward you? Does she maintain eye contact slightly longer than necessary? Does her voice soften? Does she find subtle, socially appropriate reasons to touch a brief hand on your arm, a playful nudge, standing just a little closer than she has to? The body leaks intention long before the mouth admits it. And here's something most men miss. When a woman wants intimacy, she creates emotional safety for you. She doesn't mock your vulnerability. She doesn't weaponize your insecurities. She listens. And when you share something real, she leans closer instead of pulling back. That is a green light most men overlook because they're obsessed with surface validation instead of emotional depth. Intimacy is not built on performance. It is built on shared exposure. If she is slowly exposing parts of herself, her fears, her past, her private thoughts, that is not casual behavior. That is trust testing. She is seeing if you can hold her truth without judgment. And if you respond with emotional steadiness instead of desperation, the attraction deepens. Understand this clearly. When a woman wants intimacy, she reduces friction. She does not increase it unnecessarily. She does not make you chase shadows. She does not keep you in constant emotional limbo. Desire simplifies. It doesn't complicate. If you are constantly decoding mixed signals, overanalyzing silence, or feeling like you're auditioning for basic affection, that is not hidden passion. That is low investment, and you deserve clarity. The first sign she wants intimacy is sustained, intentional attention combined with emotional openness. Not loud, not dramatic, but consistent. Consistency is the language of real desire, and once you learn to see it, you will never confuse politeness with passion again. The second sign is this: When a woman wants intimacy with you, she begins to collapse the distance between your worlds, not just physically, structurally. Pay attention. At first, attraction lives in isolated moments, a conversation here, a date there, a late-night exchange. But when she desires something deeper, she starts integrating you into the fabric of her life. This is not accidental. It is psychological progression. She mentions you to her friends, maybe lightly at first. "I've been talking to someone." Then more specifically, she tells you what her best friend thought of your joke. She shares that her sister asked about you. That is not small talk. That is social introduction without you being present. Women protect their inner circle. If she's testing how you fit inside it, she is evaluating long-term compatibility. And here's what most men misunderstand. If a woman only keeps you in private spaces, late nights, secrecy, isolation, but never integrates you into her daylight world, that is not intimacy. That is compartmentalization. Intimacy expands visibility. If she wants you emotionally, she becomes comfortable being seen with you, in public, in stories, in plans. She'll also start aligning future language with you included. It won't be dramatic. It won't be forever conversations right away. It will be subtle shifts, like "we should check that place out next month," or "you'd love this event in the summer." She is placing you in her future timeline. That is a powerful indicator, because women are forward processors. If she cannot imagine you in her tomorrow, she will keep you contained in her today. And when she wants intimacy, she doesn't just respond to your plans, she initiates them. Notice who is creating opportunities to see each other. Is she suggesting times, rearranging her schedule, finding reasons to extend the night? A woman who desires closeness will create logistical pathways for it. Men often mistake attraction for intensity, but real intimacy is revealed in effort. Does she make it easy to spend time together? Or are you constantly negotiating access? If every meeting feels like you're requesting an audience with a queen who is unsure about you, that is imbalance. When she wants you, she lowers the drawbridge. Now let's talk about emotional exclusivity. When a woman wants intimacy, she begins to emotionally prioritize you. That doesn't mean instant commitment, it means you feel the shift. Her communication becomes more consistent. She updates you without being prompted. She shares her day. She sends something that reminded her of you, not because she's bored, but because you are active in her thoughts. You don't have to chase presence, you feel it, and here is something critical. She becomes protective of the connection. If something feels off, she addresses it. If there's tension, she doesn't disappear. She wants resolution. Why? Because she values the bond. Indifference avoids conflict. Desire works through it. A woman who wants intimacy does not run at the first sign of emotional discomfort. She leans in carefully and tries to understand. And let me challenge you here. When she opens these doors, can you meet her there? Many men ask for intimacy but are emotionally unavailable when it arrives. They want closeness without responsibility, depth without vulnerability. They want her softness but resist giving their own. Intimacy is mutual exposure. If she is integrating you into her life, testing your fit in her world and creating space for you in her future, she is not playing games. She is evaluating stability. And stability is attractive to women in a way many men underestimate. Drama excites, stability bonds. If she feels calm around you, safe around you, able to be herself around you, that is a sign of deepening attachment. Women do not attach where they feel unstable or dismissed. You'll notice something else when she wants intimacy. Her energy becomes warmer, not chaotic. You don't feel like you're on a roller coaster of attention and withdrawal. You feel a steady climb. It might not be explosive, but it is grounding, and grounding is powerful. So watch carefully. Is she integrating you into her social circle? Is she including you in future-oriented conversations? Is she making logistical space for you without resistance? Is she protecting the connection instead of sabotaging it? If the answer is yes, you are not chasing, you are building. And building is the foundation of intimacy. When you recognize that shift, you stop performing for validation, you start responding with leadership, calmness, and depth. Because at that point, she is not just flirting, she is investing. The third sign she wants intimacy with you is the most powerful and the most overlooked. She becomes emotionally vulnerable around you. Not dramatic confession, not trauma dumping for attention, real vulnerability. Listen closely. Women do not open their inner fears, insecurities, regrets, or pain to men they see as temporary entertainment. They protect those layers. Those stories are guarded. When she starts sharing the parts of herself that she hides from the world, the insecurity about her body, the relationship that hurt her, the fear of being abandoned, the pressure she feels from family, she is doing something significant. She is testing emotional safety, and safety is the gateway to intimacy. You might notice she tells you things she has never told her friends. She might say, "I don't usually talk about this," or "I don't know why I'm telling you this," but that sentence is powerful. It means she feels something different with you. But here's where many men fail. When she opens up, they either turn it into a joke, try to fix her immediately, or use the vulnerability as leverage later. That destroys intimacy instantly. If a woman reveals something personal and you respond with judgment, impatience, or advice she didn't ask for, she subconsciously closes that door. What she needs in that moment is emotional containment. She needs you to listen without panic, without trying to rescue her, without making her vulnerability about your ego. When you simply say, "I understand," "that makes sense," or you validate her feelings without overreacting, you become a safe space, and safe spaces create attachment. Notice the shift after vulnerability. Does she relax more around you? Does she breathe deeper? Does she start trusting you with more layers over time? That progression is not random. It means her nervous system associates you with security. Another subtle indicator is emotional dependency forming naturally. She might check in with you during stressful moments. She might reach out when something good happens. She might look for your reaction before making decisions. That doesn't mean control, it means connection. When a woman wants intimacy, your opinion starts to matter, not because she loses independence, but because she values alignment. You become part of her emotional processing system. And here's something important. Vulnerability is usually gradual. First, she shares opinions, then experiences, then fears, then deeper wounds. It unfolds layer by layer. If she jumps straight into intense emotional confessions too fast, that may be attachment trauma, not healthy intimacy. Healthy intimacy grows slowly and feels safe. You will also see vulnerability expressed physically. She allows herself to look imperfect around you. No heavy performance, no constant image management, maybe minimal makeup, maybe relaxed posture, maybe comfortable silence. That comfort is powerful. Women guard their image around men they want to impress but not necessarily keep. When she stops performing and starts being real, that's progression. But remember something crucial. Vulnerability is not proof of commitment. It is proof of trust. Trust can lead to intimacy, but it still requires mutual effort to turn into something stable. So ask yourself honestly, is she opening up to you about things that matter? Is she revealing her fears without fear of judgment? Is she allowing emotional closeness instead of staying surface level? If yes, she sees you as more than temporary attention. She sees you as someone capable of holding depth, and that is rare. When you respond correctly to vulnerability with calm confidence, emotional control, and respect, you strengthen attraction instead of weakening it. Because women are drawn to men who can handle emotional truth without collapsing under it. That is leadership in relationships. And leadership builds intimacy that lasts. The final sign she wants intimacy with you is the clearest, but men often misinterpret it. She starts choosing you consistently, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, consistently. Let me explain. Attraction can be temporary, chemistry can be random, attention can be divided, but choice is intentional. When a woman wants intimacy with you, she repeatedly selects your presence over alternatives. You'll see it in small decisions. She prioritizes time with you even when she's busy. She reschedules other plans but protects your time. She responds to your messages in a reasonable window instead of leaving you guessing for days. She shows up. Consistency is powerful because it signals investment. Now understand something critical. She might still have other social interactions. She might still have male attention around her. That alone doesn't mean anything. What matters is where she directs her emotional energy. Does she entertain other options while keeping you in uncertainty, or does she gradually narrow her focus toward you? A woman who wants intimacy shifts from exploration to alignment. You will notice subtle exclusivity behavior. She becomes slightly protective of the connection. If another man crosses boundaries or flirts openly, she doesn't encourage it. She creates distance from it. Not always loudly, but clearly. Her actions communicate, "I'm building something here." Another sign is how she reacts when you pull back slightly. And listen carefully. This is important. If you reduce your availability a little, not to manipulate, but to maintain balance, and she responds by reaching out, checking in, or increasing effort, that shows emotional attachment has formed. If she doesn't notice your absence at all, the connection is weak. When a woman values intimacy with you, distance creates awareness, not indifference. You also see choice and conflict. When disagreements happen, does she fight to understand you, or does she disappear at the first sign of discomfort? A woman who wants real closeness works through tension instead of using it as an excuse to exit. Conflict handled maturely actually strengthens attraction because it proves the relationship can survive imperfection. Pay attention to effort during friction. Effort during easy moments means attraction. Effort during difficult moments means commitment potential. And here's the deeper layer most men ignore. She chooses you, not because you are perfect, but because she feels emotionally stimulated, respected, and safe at the same time. That combination is rare. If you provide direction, stability, emotional intelligence, and self-respect, you become difficult to replace. When she senses that, she invests deeper. But remember this clearly. You never force intimacy by demanding loyalty or pushing labels too early. You observe behavior. You respond with strength. You allow her choices to reveal her intentions. That is power. So now let me ask you something personal. Does she consistently show attention, integrate you into her world, open up emotionally, and actively choose your presence? Or are you chasing signs that aren't really there? Be honest with yourself. Drop a comment below and tell me which sign you see, 1, 2, 3, or all of them, and explain your situation. If this message helped you understand female psychology deeper, like the video, subscribe for more psychological breakdowns like this, and share it with a friend who needs clarity about the woman in his life. Understanding these signs changes how you see relationships forever.